Welcome to this session. This is going to be 5 lifestyle habits that are going to improve your pelvic floor. Now, just to give it a bit of context, the reason why lifestyle is because our pelvic floor relies on our whole body and our mind to be functioning properly. So we need to address all of the imbalances in our mind, in our body, in our lifestyles, in our life. So that includes how we use our body and how we move our body. So these are really essential factors. Now you can learn, 100 million exercises from searching online, all sort of, promising to fix this and fix that. But if there are ways that you are moving your body or not moving your body that is impacting on your pelvic floor, then your progress is going to be next to nothing or very slow. And these lifestyle factors are free for you to add in. The hardest part about them is actually thinking about them and remembering to do them. So I'm going to get straight into it. Just a minute, I'm going to get my little piece of paper. So we're going to start off with what might seem really simple, is walking daily. Now, I know from speaking to people that actually walking daily is harder than it sounds, because if you are experiencing pelvic floor problems right now, then maybe walking actually causes you stress because you feel like you can't walk far without needing the loo. Maybe you are leaking on that walk. So I completely get it. My top tips for you, if that's happening to you right now, temporarily you could use the support of continence pads so that you can start to walk with the aim in your mind to reduce that dependency on those continence pads. So that is one way to get you out if you're not getting out at all at the moment. But the reason why it is important is because it works the body in such an effective way for your hips, to strengthen and to mobilize the hips, and it keeps the pelvic floor working as well. It also allows you to breathe. If you think about the posture in which you're standing in before you go out walking, it enables you to kind of really be mindful and take some mindful moments to walk effectively, to move more, and to kind of combat if there's lots of sitting in your life. So my suggestion for you on this first tip is, whatever you're doing however long you're walking at the moment, try and do a little bit more. And it might just be a couple of blocks more if you live in a city, in a town, just walk around an extra corner that you wouldn't do before, or try and add a few more minutes onto your walk. And it doesn't matter about the number of steps we do. I think we get too caught up in numbers and trying to reach certain benchmarks, because actually for you it's just about increasing your walking more than you're doing now. And you can get to a comfortable sort of time period for you to walk. We're not aiming to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger walks. If you love walking, then yeah, great. But just a daily walk to give your body that break from sitting, from being stationary, from whatever else it's doing, is going to be really good. So that's our first top tip, is walking. I think that's something you can probably add down now and think about now. When in your day can you go out for a walk? Could you get up really early and go for a walk before the rest of the house gets up? Could you do it in the evening when everyone's gone to bed? When could you walk? So I want you to have a little think about that. Okay, so my next top tip is to have a go at sitting on the floor more. Now this is good because it takes you out of sitting on conventional chairs, and it gives your body the opportunity to use your own muscles to hold yourself in different positions. So easy ways to sit on the floor more is, instead of sitting on your sofa at night, sit on the floor. You can add some cushions in, you can create a little padded area around you and lean against the sofa even. But what that's doing is giving you a variety of movement for your body. And also, when you do sit on the floor, what you'll find is that you can't hold one position for as long as you can when you're supported on a sofa. You can't just, sit there for hours in one position. So your body will naturally move around in different positions. So you might start cross-legged, then you might go onto your knees, then you might do some side sitting or with the legs out in front. And that is adding variety without even trying to, because you'll naturally think, oh, my legs are getting a little bit tired in this way, I'll move in a different direction. So if you sit on the floor a little bit more than you're doing now, you're adding in more variety and more movement and giving your body a chance to just move in different ways and strengthen and learn to kind of support your own body weight. Because we've got a little bit reliant generally on, you know, the way we sit in a car, we're not holding up our own weight, we've kind of got back support. If you work in an office or you've got an ergonomic chair, it's so supported. And it's designed to support our body when actually we don't need that much support because we're not using our own muscles then to support ourselves. And similarly, if you're on the sofa, you know, you're not holding up your own weight. So try sitting on the floor. As well as in the evening, if you are someone that sits in the evening, maybe you're super busy in the evening, out walking. But other times you could try sitting on the floor. If you work from home or in your own space, and you work on a computer, try using your chair to put your laptop on and sit on the floor. So you can sit on a cushion and then do a bit of typing there. Or maybe if you're on a Zoom call, you could sit on the floor instead of sitting at your chair. Other times when you can sit on the floor is when you're, you know, if you've got children and you're playing with your kids. So any opportunities to try sitting on the floor. Now, if you don't sit on the floor at all at the moment, I can totally get that it won't be that comfortable to start with. So what you can do is bring in some cushions. You can even use a small stool or some yoga blocks to sit on to raise the hips up a little bit. And that's really nice anyway, to sit on something with the bottom and the pelvis and let the knees sort of be a little bit lower. So if you're cross-legged, you can actually put something underneath your bottom and try different ways like that. And you only need to add in a little bit of sitting every day on the floor just to add that bit of variety. So we're already adding in little bits of variety throughout your day. Now the next one is a bit more, so it's a bit bigger in the fact that I'm going to say try move in a variety of different ways. Now this doesn't have to be different exercises. It doesn't have to be defined bits of movement in terms of sports or activities, but it could be. What I want you to think about is, what are the most common positions that you find yourself in at the moment? You know, maybe within your working position, you are sitting for 8 hours at a desk or for long periods of time over a computer. Now, how could you add in a little bit more movement that took you out of that habit and changed the pattern that you're getting into, those habits that your body's getting into? So I've got some tips, of course, of how you could do that. Some ways of adding in more variety is to think about the natural movements that we do around the house. Now, one of the examples is cleaning manually. Now that sounds that's a bit boring. I don't do cleaning, or I've got a cleaner or whatever. But if you think about that in terms of the way you're using your body, it's actually a really good activity. You know, maybe just every now and again, instead of using a steamer on your floor to clean your floor, you get down on your hands and knees and use that as as a bit of movement. Being careful, obviously, working within your own boundaries. Obviously, gardening can be good, but I was discussing this in my yoga class actually this week, is that sometimes with gardening, we go really all in on it and get carried away and injure ourselves. I think gardening must be one of those most common injuries around the house. But it is a nice thing to start to do if you're into it already. Just being careful to maybe stretch before and stretch after you do some gardening, and maybe just, you know, adding in a bit of gardening every now and again, rather than doing a big full day on the Saturday, which we all seem to do, and then we end up the next day with backache. But the good thing about gardening is that we're reaching up. We've got opportunities to reach up. You've got opportunities to stretch over to the side. And all of these things are really good for our body because we're moving it in all of the ways that it likes to move. It wants to move in all these different ways, but we forget and we get stuck because we get busy and we get stuck in certain movement patterns. And we tend to get stuck in a very sort of forward facing movement. So we're kind of usually moving in this sort of direction, forwards and backwards, and we forget that we can actually twist from side to side, and we can actually reach up and we can actually reach across, and all these ways that when we actually do it, we start going, oh, And the reason why these things feel so nice is because we don't do it very often. You know, so even if reaching up to the cupboard in your house, that's natural movement. So I don't want you to get caught up with exercise. Now that is a whole different thing. If you enjoy doing lots of different activities, then go for it. If that works for your body, great. The key about that is just finding things that you love doing and that suits your body. So with exercise, there's no sort of best exercise that works for everyone. I know like years ago, people would say, oh, swimming is the best exercise. Everyone must swim. But it doesn't suit everyone. Not everyone enjoys it. Not everyone benefits from it. So find something that you enjoy. Could be a sport, could be dancing around in your kitchen. And that's another good way to add variety into your day. Have a little disco in your kitchen to the radio or to your playlist, and you're adding in variety. So these all start to become sort of things that you might do already, but actually it's a great way of moving your body in different ways, because what we're trying to think about is bringing it out of the habits that you're currently in. So if you're currently suffering with dysfunction, in whether it's leaking or urgency, there is imbalance somewhere, and that imbalance might be in the fact that your hips may be a little bit stiff and you're sitting in a chair for lots of the time and your hip flexors actually need a bit of a stretch. So by doing these kind of unplanned, unstructured activities, you're just giving your body that chance to stretch out, to reset, to find new and better ways to move. And you're just keeping everything moving, keeping everything mobile. So that's our third one. The fourth one is about relaxation. Now this is key, because a lot of pelvic floor issues are down to stress and anxiety. Particularly if you know you've got a hypertonic, tight pelvic floor or overactive pelvic floor, you really need to be thinking about your stress levels and your busyness levels as well, because even if we don't feel mentally stressed, maybe we thrive on being busy, actually the body still needs to relax. It's the nervous system still needs to have time when it's releasing and letting go. And that's the thing. Sometimes, you know, we might think, oh, but I like being busy. I like doing this. I like doing that. I like being active and I like having lots of things on my to-do list. That's great. You might not be in your mind feeling stressed, but the body needs to rest. So in terms of relaxation, I am talking about a guided, specific or timed relaxation, either lying on the floor. You could lie on the floor with your legs up against the wall. You could, or on the floor with your legs on the edge of the sofa as well, so your legs are raised up. You could sit in a chair and meditate in that sense, or sit with your back against the wall, which is quite a nice supported way to relax. So it needs to be in a way that your body can completely let go, but you feel supported at the same time. So not on a bed, not on a sofa. I'm not just talking about relaxing at night with a cup of tea and Netflix on. I'm actually talking about constructive rest. So in yoga, it's called Shavasana. It's that lying down or a variety of that. Now, my top tip for doing that, because we find it difficult to kind of stop and let go, is to grab your phone and put a time on there. And I'd say minimum 5 minutes. So try it for 5 minutes. Put your timer on for 5 minutes. Get comfortable, lie down, make sure there's plenty of space around you and you feel safe in your environment. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. And you can just focus on the inhale and the exhale. And then you can notice how the body's feeling. You can start to think about softening the body, letting go, relaxing. You could listen to music. You could put some oils on and just breathe in the smell of your favorite oil, something calming. Or you could use an app. If you've got an app that you use for meditation, make a point of spending time every day, because 5 minutes every day isn't that much, but actually it's really, really beneficial for you, for your pelvic floor, your nervous system. when your nervous system gets a chance to calm, it's when it can heal the body. So if you are in a period of healing, maybe you've had a hysterectomy, hysterectomy, didn't sound right in my head then, but yeah, hysterectomy. If you're postnatal, or you've had some surgery, or if you're suffering with an injury, your body needs time to heal. And actually, constructive rest is one of the best ways to do that. So 5 minutes, daily relaxation. And again, just have a think now, when could you do that in your day? When would be the best time? Could you do that in the evening after everyone's sorted, you've done everyone's tea and everyone's gone to bed and you just have a few minutes? Could it be in the middle of your working day? You know, if you're lucky enough to work from home or you've got your own workspace, take 5 minutes, lie down in the middle of the day. Sometimes the best time to take relaxation is when you're feeling really overwhelmed and busy. When you get to that point where you feel like you can't relax and you haven't got time, that's when you need it most. And actually, during those times, you can actually find a lot of clarity. If you're struggling on a problem, sometimes just taking that 5 minutes out gives your brain a chance to work it all out while you're just breathing, while you're just relaxing. And then you'll come back from that relaxation feeling refreshed. And you never know, you might have solved that problem that you were struggling to solve. So 5 minutes of relaxation every day. So we're moving more, we're walking and we're sitting on the floor, and then we're relaxing. So my final one, my fifth lifestyle habit, it's kind of like a bit of a big thing, but a rule when you're getting dressed in the morning. Now this is totally up to you, what you choose to wear, but what I'm going to say is, when you're choosing what to wear in the morning, I want you to think about, can you move easily in your choice of clothing? Does it allow you to sit comfortably on the floor? Is it comfortable around the tummy, around the hips, around the chest area? Would you be able to have a little stretch in the outfit that you've just chosen? Now, if you find that you've got tight clothes, if you've got skinny jeans on and they're digging into your tummy, and by the time you've had some lunch, it feels too tight, that's not the right choice. If you have a really tight underwire bra and it's giving you those, and it presses the flesh on your back out and it's making lines in your chest, that isn't the right bra for you. Similarly with dresses and skirts, tight skirts like pencil skirts or tight dresses, if you're struggling to sit down comfortably, naturally, then what that's doing is doing a whole raft of damage actually, because it's stopping you being able to move naturally. So your body is adapting and it's making some small changes, and they're not going to be positive changes. Maybe you're having to tuck your pelvis in a little bit, maybe you're having to hunch over a little bit or move in a different way, which isn't your natural way of moving. What it's also doing, so if you're particularly wearing something that's tight around the tummy that feels uncomfortable and doesn't allow your tummy just to relax and be its natural shape, what you're doing is putting pressure internally and down on your pelvic floor. So if you do struggle with urgency, that's really going to make that problem worse. So you basically want your pelvis and your hips to feel comfortable, to be able to move, to be able to stretch and sit on the floor, so that you can add all of that more movement in. And that's it. So I'm going to recap. So can we walk a bit more daily? Can we add in, even if like you're really busy one day, life does get in the way, can you do 5 minutes on that day? Because then at least you've done it, and then the other days you can do a little bit more. You can do 2 walks a day if you want to. It's really finding the level that's right for you, but the rule is, whatever you're doing now, just try and do a little bit more, and see how that makes you feel. Try sitting on the floor more, wherever you get the chance. Give yourself that opportunity to sit on the floor, get involved in playing, taking a break from sitting on the sofa. Wherever you can, find an opportunity to sit on the floor. And actually it feels really nice, because it feels like we're kind of getting back to that sort of childhood, that playful feeling as well. moving in a variety of different ways. So just thinking about not holding your body or not having your body in similar ways too much. So, you know, not sitting down for long periods of time, but similarly not standing up for long periods of time either. Having a variety, having to move around, having a jiggle. Doesn't have to be structured, doesn't have to be a class. You can just move your arms, you know, move in any way, because your body moves in such wonderful ways. Let's keep it working, because that's just going to help in so many different ways. It's going to help you stay young, it's going to help you help yourself as you get older. You know, we all want to be able to still reach things and put our own jumpers on, so keep that body moving. Relaxation, 5 minutes a day, that's all you need to think about. You can do more if you've got time to do more, do it as many times as you want to, but 5 minutes a day will make a big difference. What's quite nice to do after that is add in a bit of time for thinking time. To start, if you're a journaler, you could journal about how you feel each time you relax. You know, you could use that time just to kind of check in, see how you feel as well. And then the other thing, when you're getting up, when you're getting dressed in the morning, choose something comfortable. Choose clothes that you can do all of this movement in, that you're not going to have to lift up or move your body in a weird way, and it's not going to cause pressure internally, and it's not going to restrict your breathing. So if you've got any questions, pop them over to me and I'll answer them. If there's anything you're not sure about that you're doing that you think, oh, I'm not sure about that, then yeah, just pop a question to me. I'm always happy to kind of chat to you and help you as much as I can. Let me know if you're going to try any of those tips. Let me know if you already do them, or if you've been doing them recently and that you've seen a difference in your pelvic floor. So that's it. They are my top 5 lifestyle habits. Take care of yourself, and I will see you very soon.